Well, I just started my bachelor's degree in the game art program. I always dreamed of creating my own game and animation series, and I'm finally working to make that dream become a reality. Aside from the music business, which I'll be doing on the side, I'm going to learn how to sharpen my artistic expertise and put it into an interactive game. Gaming is what I chose years ago. Why? Games are more effective than animation because they are interactive. They can take you through stories, but you are the character in it. You go through mazes and even make your own choices. Pretty cool, I'll say. Although I express my passion about this quite a bit, there are others that have disagreed with me on this because shouldn't we be teaching our kids other things like how to plant a garden? They could be doing other things that are so much more important. And although I am not minimizing the importance of that in any way, I still have been kind of looked down on by some older folks for endorsing this because I am a gamer. I always have been. And kids are going to play games whether we like it or not. My take is that maybe it's about time we created some games that actually teach kids how to think critically and a moral lesson to go with it. Games can be used to tell stories, teach lessons, and give a message. And just like any medium, exercising discernment is a wise decision. But why not take the technology and use it for good? Just a thought. In this course, I have learned a little about how the game industry works. It has given me an understanding that I will be working with a team, much like the other jobs I have worked. I will also be utilizing my artistic expertise to bring forth a visual aspect of the game that I will be creating. It's what players will see when interacting with the game. I learned that the projects are time sensitive, so time management is a must. I also have come to realize that you may not always please everyone when taking hold of the vision that you have for your projects. Do it anyway. A game artist must be goal-oriented, have a wide variation of artistic skills, and also be familiar with software such as Blender, Maya, and or 3D Studio Max. We also need to learn how to do digital art with Photoshop or GIMP. So the real question is this role right for me? To do this role, I will need to do the following things. Have an art portfolio demonstrating a range of work and originality and of style. Be able to draw from life. Have knowledge of anatomy and architecture. Be able to convey facial expressions and emotions. Have a flair of color, composition, perspective, modeling and texturing techniques, lighting and mood. Having skills in comic book art and storyboarding. Be able to work as a part of a team and independently. Be imaginative and creative. Pay close attention to detail and have strong powers of observation. Having good communication skills. Be able to work to a style guide. And have knowledge in the requirements of the relevant health and safety legislation and procedures. First of all, I am a first-generation gamer. I've watched games develop from pixelated animations on the screen to full-blown movie themes, and I think it is absolutely amazing just how far we've come in video game development in the past 20 years. I've also noticed that the more games evolve, the more mature content that we are finding in video games. They used to be geared towards a young audience when I was growing up. One thing that I've learned about being a game artist is that you have to be familiar with a host of different art styles. 3D modeling plays a great part in game art. As well as rigging and animation, you also have to learn to work with a team of artists, as I've mentioned before. This includes game designers and game programmers. Game artists and game programmers are not always going to be on the same page. This is where game designers come in to reconcile the two ideas and put these concepts into action. The career of game art is a very fascinating one. There are obligations, expectations, and time-sensitive goals you will have to meet up to. But the fact is, you aren't going to please everyone all the time. I have even experienced some early stages of constructive criticism and having been told that my alternative is not needed or wanted. But of course, there will always be disagreements. Due to the increase of mature content, I do believe that a wholesome alternative is needed for those who want it. And when coming up with new ideas, there will always be risks, as James Brightman quoted. Sometimes you need to take those risks and do what you need to do to satisfy the game that you are trying to make and the vision you are trying to follow. It might not always satisfy people. In the finished product of a game, there will always be something that you would like to point out that needs to be tweaked, improved, to make the game better. No matter if it is complete to your expectation or not, there's a point in time when you have to publish and ship. Because if you don't have players, you don't have a game. My personal goal is to start my own gaming company called Christianime, which will be dedicated to producing anime-style games and titles free from any material that players or viewers would find objectionable. You can check out my website at christianime.com. I have also discovered the HoloLens, which is a form of virtual reality. It's a pair of spectacles that you put around your head. It scans your surroundings and objects and then implements 3D models into your environment. With this, you can watch your favorite shows, play games, even interact with people online, or even teleportation. I see the game industry changing in just a few short years, implementing different platforms, virtual reality, as well as game consoles. Though my assignment progress has been a plus, I do expect for things to become a lot more difficult down the road, as things begin to become more complicated. This will be especially true when I begin to work on my 3D modeling work. This is both exciting and challenging, but I believe that if I dedicate my time to this, it will be worthwhile and I will be able to go all the way with this. Time management has always been a struggle for me, and it is something that I know will also help me with my goals and career. Coming up with a daily routine is vital when you become goal-oriented, especially when you are trying to juggle a game career, a music career, writing a book, taking care of a house and a family. Everything is time-sensitive. That's the real world. My music, for example, is something that I am dedicated to work on every single day. However, procrastination will always get in the way. So, as they say, eat the frog first, and you will be able to enjoy the rest of the day. Cutting out these bad habits are a part of my goal to accomplish great things in the world. What I have learned so far is time management, weekly management, and goal-oriented scheduling. This will be applied to my future goals. I will also be applying 3D modeling, concept art, texturing, rigging, animation, facial expressions, color theory, background design, architecture, perspective drawing, realism, shading, atmosphere, and music to my future game career. The more knowledge in these areas I obtain, the more successful my career will be. If there's any piece of advice I would like to give anyone, it is this. I've been into the social networking and social media craze since I was first introduced to it in the 90s. I know all about it. I now have a Yahoo account, MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, DeviantArt, LinkedIn, Christianime, Wattpad, Instagram, YouTube, Google, Tumblr, SoundCloud, and Reverb Nation. If you think that sounds like too much, then you are absolutely right. One thing I have learned in my social networking experience, it's good to stick with at least two. Too many can strain your brain and you won't be able to keep up with all of them, so only stick with two if you can. Two main sites I use are Twitter and Facebook, and I do have my Christianime social network as well, but that is for business purposes, and my YouTube channel dedicated to showcase my songs and art. You can have as many as you want, but I will warn you. It's hard to have that many and keep all of your followers. Whatever you do, don't post anything inappropriate or offensive. If you want a personal site where you can share your political views, religious views, or anything personal, make sure you set it to private. Here is why. Employers look at that stuff. They will judge you based on those things they see about you. Due to the fact that I have way too many social networks on my hands, I'm going to delete some of my accounts on them. Some things work and some things don't. You've got to find out what's right for you. I personally would not recommend putting a bunch of information about yourself out there that you would rather keep private. Things such as phone numbers, email addresses, home addresses, your hometown, or any of the people that you may know must be kept private. This would also include your personal views on sensitive topics. It really helps to create a Facebook for business purposes only and make your connection or friend one private. Thank you all for watching. To hear more great electronic style music, visit SonyaMarlene.com. And don't forget to subscribe to get continuous updates on new releases. See you next time.